Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator, and I'm going to go over my collecting strategy for 2023. Now, if you know, I made a collecting video back in 2022, and I pretty much stuck to my collecting goals for the most part. Definitely looked into getting some good deals, and definitely looked into getting some harder to find, more collectible weapons. With that being said, 2023 is a different year. Things have changed. Can we still find some good deals? I mean, after 2021, 2020, 2022, you saw military surplus and collectibles just skyrocket in value. Well, in 2022, I think I saw some of the demand come down, which essentially some of these shops that were selling stuff for stupidly high prices were also coming down in price. So I think in 2023, we're probably still going to continue to see some price declines depending how the year goes. And I think we'll definitely be able to find some good deals. And one of the things I really enjoy about collecting military surplus is the history of it. And when you think about it, the history is a story of us. How we as a human species had come to this point in time, how our ancestors survived and passed down the legacy to where we are right now. So I think it's important to collect some of these relics and learn the history behind them so you can understand the struggles of humankind. All right, well, starting off with number one, first thing I'd like to do is still same goal as I did have in 2022. I'm keeping it. I'd be altering it a little bit, but I definitely want to find some high quality military surplus or collectible weapons at a very cheap price. Which means finding good deals. With everything that's going on, I think it's a lot harder to find good deals than in the past. I mean, 5-10 years ago, it was a lot easier to pull the trigger on a weapon because it was cheap. But nowadays, some of these are highly sought after and there's a lot higher demand. So essentially, I'm going to have to dedicate a lot more time to going out and seeking some of these good deals. I think I found some really good deals back in 2022, but in 2023, it might be a little harder, just depending on all the different things like the economy and local gun shops and websites online. So yeah, it could be interesting. And that leads me into number two, which is pulverize the like button and subscribe for the algorithms. Yeah, I had to sneak that one in there. But yeah, seriously, I mean, it really helps out guys with the channel and the growth. So definitely share it if you enjoy this kind of content. Well, number two, what I plan to do is get into collecting relics and military surplus from an era that I don't really cover too often on the channel. But I want to get into some Civil War, maybe some 1800s, maybe even 1700s, black powder rifles, black powder cartridge rifles. I touched a little bit on it in the past, but I definitely want to seek out some more of these types. They are a lot more pricier because they're harder to find, and a lot of these are collectible, very collectible. They only made so much weapons back then, and not many have survived, and right now it's a little harder to find. So I think I want to dabble in that and take some out to the range and shoot them. That might also include attaining a rifle in black powder or a pistol in black powder that is a reproduction. That way I don't have to worry about damaging it and losing a collectible if it gets messed up. Now, I will be coming out with a video soon because that is exactly what happened to me at the range this last weekend, which I am highly distraught over. All right, number three, I want to get into some more Cold War era weaponry as well. So yeah, I mean, that includes anything kind of from the 20th century. Essentially, I do have a lot of weaponry from the 20th century, but if I do find something that I don't have in my collection, or maybe I'm finding stuff that is better quality, I will definitely get into that. But when it comes down to the Cold War era surplus, I don't really have too much of that, and definitely want to get into that. And going along with that, I'm probably gonna look at some more pistols. You know, they're not as highly sought after, but that is an era of very high uncertainty, the nuclear age, the comm block era, or a lot of comm block packed countries coming together and mass manufacturing weaponry. And also I'm working on some projects As you know, I was working on an M16A1. I finished that. I can, the video's in the description if you want to see the details about how I made the M16A1. Also, I'm working on another M16A1. I think the first one was just so fun. I found another kit, parts kit, and I was like, yeah, I gotta have this one too. So I do have some other kits as well that I'll be working on, and I want to finish those. Also, I do have a few other projects that are World War II surplus, so, definitely want to finish those too. But essentially, number 3 is finding some of the Cold War era or 20th century era military surplus that's a little harder to find and not sought after currently. All right, and number 4, definitely want to share more history with you guys. So I've got a lot of content on Instagram and Facebook. You can check those out if you haven't, but a lot of my Instagram and Facebook content I haven't made into video format. So there's a lot of history that I've documented, I just haven't pushed it to video. Definitely want to do that. Definitely any relics I get, maybe even traveling around, going to different battlefields, sharing some of the history from that, giving you a history tour. And I recently just did one on Chickamauga battlefield, and that is in the description as well, so you can check that out. But yeah, there's a lot of history here in the States as it is, and I think over time what I want to do is travel around and give you guys a history from all over the world. But for now, I think I'll stick around to the States and share some of the history here. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Definitely appreciate you guys sticking around to the end if you did. Let me know what your collecting strategy is for 2023. And as I always like to say, be sure to learn history and curate history. Make it a great day.